Hello aspirants, welcome to Mechanical World. Today we are learning about loads and its classifications from strength of materials. First of all, what is meant by load? Load is defined as an external force or coupled to which a component is subjected during its functionality. Any component may subject to different types of loads during its functionality. For example, a piston cylinder element, a crank rod can subjected to so many loads like tension, compression, like that. We'll learn all those things in later classes. For example, here a ball is placed on a cuboid. Weight of the ball is acting as a load on the cuboid. Another example, centripetal or centrifugal force. Centripetal or centrifugal forces are acting on a component due to rotation motion of an enclosed equipment. For example, let us consider, you can see a red cylinder here. A white color ball is placed inside the red cylinder. If the red cylinder is rotated, then the ball is said to move from center to outward. This is due to centrifugal force. If the ball is moved from outward to inside, then it is said to be centrifugal load. These centripetal or centrifugal are forces acting due to the rotation motion of a component. Inertia forces. Forces are acting on equipment due to suddenly stopping or suddenly starting it. From Newton's first law of motion, if any body is in rest, tries to continue in rest, or if any body is in motion, tries to continue in motion, until unless an external force acting on it. For example, here you can see a cart is there. Initially, it is at rest. By by suddenly applying load on it, an resisting force acting on backward direction. That resisting force in red symbol is nothing but the inertia force. Other examples, gas forces. This acting due to pressure acting on a cylinder, or the force acting by flowing wind on a wind turbine blade. All those forces are considered to be gas forces. Tension. If you stretch any member, then tension will induce in that member. All these belt, ropes and chain drives works under tension. This tension is also a form of load. Moments. Combination of different types of loads in different configurations are said to be moments. All these are clearly explained in upcoming classes. Let us go to next topic, classification of load. Loads are classified basically on the following: with respect to time, based on direction of load; with respect to cross section, based on distribution of load. First of all, let us see this classification clearly. Load with respect to time, load is classified into static load, dynamic load. With respect to cross section, normal load, shear load. With respect to distribution, concentrated load, distributed load. With respect to time, and with respect to time, the static load is divided into two types: dead load, gradually applied load, and dynamic load is impact load and fatigue or cyclic load. First of all, what is meant by static load? Let us see here. Load which is applied at an instant of time and no change in intensity of load with respect to time. A static load does not change with respect to time. All those loads which does not change with respect to time is static load. For example, you sat in a chair for 1 hour, then the weight of you acting as a static load on the chair for that 1 hour. Static load is classified into two types: dead load, gradually applied load. Dead load is load which is applied at single instant. For example, you sat in a chair, that is a dead load. Gradually applied load. Gradually applied load is acting very slowly. For example, take rice grains and you add one rice grain to weighing bar continuously slowly. All those loads are said to be gradually applied load. This will not affect the properties of the system. That's why these loads are said to be gradually applied load. If those loads change if those loads change the properties of the system, then it is said to be impact load. Dynamic load. If applied load is changing with respect to time, the load is said to be dynamic load. Dynamic load are further classified into two types: impact load, fatigue load. First one, what is impact load. If load is applied suddenly within fraction of seconds of time is said to be impact load. If you impact load is suddenly applied load within fraction of seconds. For example, if you throw a stone on a wall, a huge amount of force acting in within fraction of seconds on the wall, that load is said to be impact load. Fatigue load. If the direction of load changing with respect to time, then it is said to be fatigue load. For example, you jumping on a wall or you jumping on a pillow or bed. What happens when you touch that pillow? Compression force will induce in the pillow, and if you going up, then compression force is released from the pillow. This is cyclic force or fatigue load. If load direction changes, then that load is said to be completely reversible load. If load magnitude changes, then the load is said to be fatigue fluctuating load. If both direction and magnitude changes, then the load is said to be alternative reversible load. Classification of loads based on direction with respect to cross section. This is further classified into two types: normal load, shear load. The normal load is further classified into axial load, eccentric axial load, and the shear load is further classified into transverse shear load, eccentric transverse shear load. First of all, we have to know what is meant by longitudinal axis and transverse axis. Here you can see a pink line which is extruded from the center of horizontal. For example, you can see here a pink line is extruded in horizontal direction, that is said to be longitudinal axis, and vertical line is said to be transverse axis. Normal load. If any load acting perpendicular to the cross section, the load is said to be normal load. For example, you can see here the cross section is square cross section and load is acting perpendicularly from that cross section, then these loads are said to be normal loads. If loads are moving away from the center of, then the load is said to be tensile load. If the load is moving towards center, then the load is said to be compressive load. Axial load. If the load is acting exactly through the central axis of the cross section, then the load is said to be axial load acting on the body. You can see here the black line is central axis and the load is acting exactly through the central axis. Thus, this load acting is axial load, or we can say axial tensile load. Eccentric axial load. If load is acting away from the central axis, then the load is said to be eccentric axial load. Here we can see that load is acting away from the central axis, which is black in color, and this load is said to be eccentric axial load. And if you want to say specifically, then it is said to be eccentric axial tensile load. Shear load. If load acting on a member is parallel to plane of cross section of the member, then the load is said to be shear load. Here you can see the load is acting parallel to the square cross section. That's why this load is said to be clear load, shear load. Transverse shear load. If the load is acting along the transverse axis or vertical axis of the member, then the load is said to be transverse shear load. Simply we can say this one as TSL, transverse shear load. Here we can see that load is acting along the vertical axis, black axis. This is said to be transverse shear load. Eccentric transverse shear load. If the load is acting away from the transverse axis or vertical axis, then the load is said to be eccentric transverse shear load, simply ETSL. Here you see that the load is acting away from the central vertical axis, that is black in color. That's why this load is said to be eccentric transverse shear load. Based on distribution of loads are classified into two types: concentrated load, distributed load. Further, this concentrated load is classified into two types: concentrated point load, concentrated moments. Distributed loads are further classified into three types: uniformly distributed load, uniformly varying load, uniformly distributed moment. Let's see what all are these. Concentrated load. Load is concentrated at a point, then it is said to be concentrated load. For example, you can see concentrated point load. Load is acting at a single point on the entire body, not acting on entire body, only at single point. Thus these loads are said to be concentrated point load, concentrated moment. Similarly, like concentrated point load, moment is acting at a single point on a body, then that moment is said to be concentrated point moment or concentrated moment. Here point means the cross section, not a single point on the cross section. Distributed load. If the load is distributed over entire surface, then the load are said to be distributed load. Here you can see uniformly distributed load. Simply we can say UDL. Load is distributed over entire beam uniformly. For example, here you can see that load is acting continuously on the yellow color beam. That's why this load is said to be UDL, uniformly distributed load. Uniformly varying load, UVL. If load is varying uniformly over the entire beam, the load is said to be uniformly varying load. Uniformly distributed moment. Like uniformly distributed load, momentum is distributed over the entire beam, then it is said to be uniformly distributed momentum. Let us solve this question. Find the types of loads acting on the following beam. Try to solve yourself. In next slide, I will show you the results. These are the results. P1 acting away from the central horizontal axis or longitudinal axis. Then the P1 load is eccentric axial load. Why axial load? This load is acting away perpendicular to the cross section. That's why this is axial load, and it is acting away from the longitudinal axis. That's why P1 is said to be eccentric axial load. P2 is also an axial load since it is acting perpendicular to the cross section, but it is exactly passing through the longitudinal axis. That's why P2 is said to be axial load. P3 is also an axial load, but it is acting away from the longitudinal axis. That's why P3 is eccentric axial load. Let's come to P4. The load is acting parallel to the cross section. That's why P4 is an shear load. Here P4 is passing through the vertical axis or transverse axis. That's why P4 is transverse shear load, TSL. P5 is also a shear load. Why? Because it is acting parallel to the cross section, but it is not passing through the vertical axis. That's why P5 is at an eccentric transverse shear load, ETSL. P6, P7 loads are also acting parallel to the cross section, but not passing through the central vertical axis. That's why P6 and P7 are also eccentric transverse shear load. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Click on the bell icon to get latest updates. If you find any difficulties in understanding this one, and also if you have any queries, please do comment. Thank you.